And that brings us to the Athens Sound and Light, which was given to Athens by the French. So again, we'll let the tour guides take over.
30 BC. The Acropolis took 9 years to build, and the show you'll be going to see tonight, the Sun and Lumia, this is all about the wars and things that have happened around the Acropolis. As we know, Greece has had many wars, especially with the Persians, and in Pericles' time this was when Athens was becoming strong and wealthy. It was called the Golden Age, and this was when the people started with the philosophy, the mathematics and science things. The wars, as I say, you'll be hearing more about this in the show later on this evening. The wars with the Persians, one of the wars which was won was in the 409th century BC, and this was when Athens actually started becoming strong. And after the last war with the Persians, which was the War of Marathon in 480 BC, from here, this is where the democracy started from, this period. As I say, we'll be going to the Pnyxis Hill, looking onto the Acropolis, and the Acropolis, there is actually Neolithic remains found in the Acropolis, meaning that the Acropolis was actually lived in the 6th century BC. They actually lived in the Acropolis until the 19th century. If you haven't already been to see the Parthenon and the Acropolis, you'll find there's lots of small houses built on the hill, and this is where the people came to live in the 19th century. We'll be going...
So this is the city of Athens, and on top of the hill, the walled city, the Acropolis. We're just waiting for the Sun Lumiere to begin. There's the Parthenon at the very top. And of course the walled city around that.
What you are about to hear and see is dedicated by France to the glory of Greece. The hill where all do gather, the Pnyx. You are on the very spot where Athenians of old would flock to hear the most beautiful tongue of this earth, spoken to the greatest people of the world. Tonight, on this hill, we shall revive once more the golden age of Athens. of Athens.
After 1,000 and 1,000 and yet 1,000 years, I salute thee with as much joy as on discovered thee, Athens, my slumbering goddess crouched in the shadow of the sacred rock.
O Athens, our city, then but a haughty rock, a wave of stone over the barren plain. Now born from the silver sea, a land of marble, a dawn of beauty.
Athenians, listen, listen.
Let Pericles speak. Listen.
The great Pericles, the grave Pericles, Pericles the Olympian, master of self. Fervent and free, the people of Athens, because of his rule, follow the path of glory.
Listen, listen.
People of this land, sovereign masters of the state, today is the feast of the greater Panathenaic. We shall mount to the Acropolis to revere our gods. Let us offer our goddess her veil, the peplos embroidered by our virgins, and which floats at the mast of the sacred trireme. Let the flute and the lyre players lead the feast, and the procession be as Theseus ordered.
Hear the pontiffs and the wise elders. Here are heroes who bear the mighty scars, heroes of Marathon, Salamis, and Plataea. They march on, brave and strong. And like the purest breeze, these advancing gently, the long white cortege of virgins with their gold baskets in their bare hands.
Here the ambassadors of our allied cities, their hands encumbered with gold and silver gifts.
Ah, to these my preference goes. Our athletes, our winners of games, springtide of our fatherland.
And those are dauntless horsemen, gripping their neighing horses of Thessaly.
The quadrigi drawn by victory.
The deep mauve of night hath seeped away. The soft dawn day doth creep its way to the Cephasus banks.
The first glowing rays of sun fondle the sacred trireme as it urges on towards the Acropolis.
Undulating its way up the hill as over the crest of waves.
Pallas Athena's veil unfurling at the morn.
That veil the servitors of Erechtheus embroidered with such loving care.
Here we stand on the sacred hill with the Panathenaic, on this spur which digs its roots far into the city's flesh. Here on the hill crest which commands the world, before the great Virgin's temple, already heaven's own mansion.
Pericles will speak.
What does he propose to say to us?
You'll see, he'll spout about Athens.
Hasn't he the right to be proud? See this host of wonders, are they not his?
Aeschylus once told me, when thou hast a heart, a soul, and a mind, thou canst hardly refrain from speaking of Athens without exaggeration.
How could there ever be exaggeration? Is not Athens perfect?
This land, upon which the same race has always dwelt, was bequeathed to us free by our ancestors because of their worth. Our forefathers deserve our praise, yet even more so our fathers. For to this heritage they have added the power we now withhold. Recall the past decades. I speak to ye, elder citizens of this land. Do ye remember?
We do remember, O Pericles, thou son of Xanthipus. We do remember, O Pericles, thou son of Xanthipus. We do remember.
We hear you, O messengers. Pray speak, appease our fear.
Quick, we beg you, quick, quick.
Nay, we have been told to speak only before the Senate of Areopagus. Pray follow us, we shall lead you there.
The ghost of fear hath clawed the anxious town within its deathly grip.
Couriers, what news do you bring? Good or fatal?
The ruthless king's anger hovers over us. Darius has assembled his forces against all who wish to live in freedom.
The cities of Ionia have been burned to ashes.
The traitor Hippias, that tyrant we had exiled, is now leading the enemy to our Attic shores.
Behind the Panathenaic, the mercenaries of Xerxes the Persian have crowded the sandy beaches. There where Theseus slayed the monstrous bull in the village of Marathon.
Marathon, but a 2-day walk from here.
Messengers, you may take your rest. Leave to us the choosing of our duty. The mightiest must lead our men. The mightiest. Miltiades and Aristides and Themistocles.
Athenians, we hear you, Pericles. I leave to thee, Herodotus, the task of recounting the battle, for thy speech is melodious and crystal clear. Thou speakest the very tongue of Clio.
When the planning of the battle was settled, and the augury given by the victims deemed favorable, the Athenians attacked. To fight reckless, lacking as they do cavalry and archers. But the Athenians' courage is stupendous. At the center, the barbarians rend our phalanx and pursue our men. But at the wings we resist, and soon force the opponents to flee. We form our ranks again and attack the barbarian columns, who burst their way through the heart of our army.
And that time, anguish befell our city.
Alas, alas, will ye suffer, O gods, the daughters of Athens, to cringe beneath barbarian rule?
Athenians, I see a man yonder, who stirs as he runs the valley dusk. He is hastening to the city.
Is he Athenian? Does he come from the battlefield? Pallas, come to our aid!
Theseus, protect us! His attire is not of a courier. He wears a helmet and clasps a sword.
One of our soldiers? Does he bring victory or servitude?
Victory!
Themistocles.
I have summoned you to the Pnyx, Athenians. We are listening, O Themistocles, we are listening. Athenians, yes, Darius is dead. But do you know Xerxes, his ire and unbounded ambition? And 'tis not of some far distant peril, nor of any fantasy of the mind that I speak. Like marching swarms of battling ants, the troops of Xerxes assembled in Cappadocia have crossed Phrygia. In the straits where Europe and Asia meet, between Abydos and Sestos, Xerxes has anchored his vessels and chained them to each other. At first, the angry sea rent the chains and scattered the pontoons. Drunk with rage, Xerxes did not fear to lash the waves of the sacred Hellespont, nor to defile the Bosphorus, where a god doth flow. And soon you will see bursting forth from the mountains that army which Asia poureth out on Europe. May the gods help us. The gods will help you, if you help yourselves.
Alas, what can we do against this vulgar herd which swamps our soil?
Foresee all, and fear naught. I have sent a messenger to question the Pythoness.
And put up stockades and towers of wood.
And with the goddess' help we shall resist. Is this not true, Themistocles? Aye, the goddess shall defend her people, albeit not as you hope.
What does this mean?
We need not raise these wooden walls the Pythoness spoke of. Nay, for 10 years we have built them. Those very hulls and boards of our vessels anchored at the Piraeus hold our fate.
Folly, Themistocles, 'tis folly. Thou distortest the spirit of the prophecy. Death doth Themistocles deserve.
Say what thou wilt, yet listen to me. We must flee from slavery. We must abandon our city. To our ships! To our ships, I say!
'Tis here we will fight our foes. We have the knowledge of age. Here on the Acropolis we shall fight. We, wise, long-lived years, from our walls of wood we shall fight. From here, from here, from here.
Our faith is thine, Themistocles. With thee we go to sea. Leave the Acropolis to the aging fools, for Herodes' fate will be fought on the sea, on the sea, on the sea.
We will guard the Acropolis till death smothers us in its ruins.
Do you hear the Persians?
'Tis Xerxes' army.
The Persians are camped here before us, on the Areopagus. Their arrows are full of burning tow, which they hurl over the barricades built by the Athenians who refuse to leave the city. The besieged are defending themselves so heroically and with such steadfastness that Xerxes has become anxious.
Do you see that breach in the rock?
Yes, we do.
You must scale the wall there. No sentinel appears regarding this side. Go!
They climb the wall with success. And when the besieged suddenly see these men appear over the ramparts of the sacred rock, they disperse in terror, some throwing themselves over the summit of the hill, preferring death to defeat, others sinking to prayer within the massive temple walls. But soon the Persians reach the temple. Xerxes' companions watch with woeful eyes the raging blaze devour the city.
Vessels, Hellene ships, preparing for combat. There, with my Salamis. Let us flee. Abandon the city. Alas, our day is sunk in darkness. What will become of us? Quick, to our ships.
Life has led us to this power. The Constitution which governs us has been given the name of democracy. Her purpose is the service of the greatest number. We are all equal before the law. Only personal merit opens the way to honor. In our public life, we are free. And in no way do we spy upon the particular behavior of our citizens. We have given to the mind countless refreshment. The greatness of our city draws to her treasures from the whole world. And it may be said that Athens is the school of Greece.
I do not agree with you, Pericles. You have covered Athens with costly stones. Like a harlot, you have painted her.
I wished that the workmen of this land should not lack the advantages given to the soldiers and the seamen. I wished to guard them from laziness and idleness. That is why, with the sole purpose of serving the people, I ordered these great works. Athenians, ye must remember your long efforts.
'Tis true. Here be no idle hands for play, nor any empty heads for dreams.
Would that the people of Lacedaemon see us work.
Fret not. You know too well that jealous eyes take little rest. A great shame indeed that Pericles' wish never came true. He wanted all the Hellenes to assemble and raise again their sanctuaries. Great was the idea.
And righteous too. For 20 years we sacrificed all to war, whilst Aegina and Olympia built their temples.
Friends, fate has chosen so. Better act than prattle. If all will not work for one, then the one will work for all. And the whole of Greece will flock to this spot and be enthralled. I once drove those loaded chariots pulled by oxen, which haul from the Pentelicon gigantic marble blocks.
Coarse, sharp-edged, shapeless, glittering in the sun like diamonds.
They yield to the will that shapes them, the hand that polishes them and stands them majestically erect.
Proud columns reaching for the sky, noble portals, flawless walls, masterpieces as undivided as a flower.
Vessels pour into our ports the riches of the world. Ivory, ebony, gold and bronze. Hammers strike, crack, split.
Mold, load, lug and build, strike, whack, knock and build, haul, draw, forge, tow and build and build and build.
Men, between the sun's chariot rising from the waves and the falling of Silene's mantle of oblivion.
Pray, Phidias, speak on.
This isle, facing the waning sun, shall celebrate the divine pact between Athena and Poseidon, between the sea and the olive tree.
Temples stood graciously arrayed with the majesty of time. It seems that a flower of youth throbs within them, that time cannot quell, and which preserves them against all blemish, as if there flowed through their stone the immortal breath of a soul rebellious to age.
The ever-living forces of darkness. I shall stand for order, law, and clarity. For centuries to come, I shall be a manner of thought, of love, of reason, which shall guard against pride and fanaticism. Lifting their eyes towards me, philosophers will discover the depths of thought. Architects will dream the majesty of their palaces. Come.